Welcome to Big Boof Bets. It's the Get That Money podcast. I am Nate Stevenson. And at this point, you guys know the deal. We got Mr. Big Boofy Skirman and Mr. Tony T-Bone Guarino. How is everybody doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm not going to let a week where I should have gone 2-1 on the pizza box, but instead I got Hail Murray'd to a 1-1-1 record on the pizza box. Keep me down. So I'm doing good. I'm ready for week 11.
How about you, Toad?
Still navigating, dating the NFL in 2020 and still receiving those mixed signals. But hey, we're in the positive column, so here's the hoping that I can just continue to stay away from the friend zone and get back to those units.
I feel you, man. I feel like I got friend zoned by the Ravens this past week because we were almost on our way to a nice profitable weekend, and all we needed was the Ravens money line, and they couldn't get it done. The podcast parlay last week, first 8 legs hit. Just needed a halftime, full time by the Ravens. Just be winning, and they couldn't get it done. So just missed again on the podcast parlay. So sorry everybody, but we will get it. We keep coming real close. Almost as close as Boof was to finally winning a pizza box week against me, but alas, no moss there too, Chief. At least that was something for me to laugh about anyway.
Hey, on a serious note, man, with those parlays, all it takes is one, and you have a great season, like straight up.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. But, enough about that. How'd those locks do? I know we were kind of so-so.
Well, don't make it sound so bad. Here we went 3-3. We actually had 7, but we threw out the Bucks -3 conditionally. We were not able to get that line. It's too bad we didn't because the Bucks crushed the Panthers, and that would have been a winner for us. But alas, we did not. We had 3 losers. They were the Broncos and Raiders over 52. The Raiders did their part. They scored 37. Broncos did not show up. There were definitely a couple of extra easy plays for us that could have been made that could have gotten us over that total. But did not happen. Such is life. Seahawks +2. Rams were just better in that game, is what it is. And then Nate touched on, we had the Ravens -7 against the Patriots. Crappy conditions up in Foxborough. Excuses, blah, blah, blah. Ravens didn't get it done. Patriots did. Those were our losers. Our winners were the Chargers and Dolphins over 48. Saints -9. Jameis Winston in relief duty, able to get it done. In the Vikings -2.5. They were also able to get it done. Kirk Cousins getting his first Monday Night Football victory. So 3-3 brings our total for the season to 41-31-1 with a 56.94% success rate. And we touched on this the last couple weeks. On Sundays, we are sharing our prop bets that we like. This week, we went 4-3. So if you got on board with all of them, you made yourself a little bit of money on that as well. So be sure to keep an eye out for us on Facebook and Twitter at Big Boof Bets, and we'll be getting those out to you on Sunday. So like I said, 4-3 this week. Our season record on that since we started tracking it is 18-9 with a 66.67% success rate.
Well, that's pretty good.
Yes, it is. That's excellent.
That's very good. And even the locks, even though we had a 3-3 week, I mean, we've had one week this season so far where the locks have gone under 500. So we've only had one losing week. So that's still already almost at 57%. I feel very good about us hitting our goal of over 60%. So we just got to keep it going, baby. Keep them winners coming.
Yeah, baby.
All right, well, let's see if we can keep Week 11 a winner. And we'll start things off Thursday with the Arizona Cardinals at the Seattle Seahawks. Quite a rematch here. We got the Seahawks laying 3.5 and the over-under at 57.5.
Russell Wilson finally looking human here the past couple games. Boofy is, I'm sure, really regretting not buying that MVP ticket for Pat Mahomes a couple weeks ago.
Sadly, I didn't do it. So here I am, sitting here not making any money on that one.
And speaking of, anyway, back to on topic here. Like, speaking of Russ, I heard something really great. I totally agree with, was that the thing with Seattle is, like, Seattle was winning a lot of close games, and a lot of that was on the. I mean, that was not a lot of that. All of that was on the strength of their offense and just how awesome Russell Wilson was playing. And it's crazy. As soon as he's has a little bit of a dip in his play here the last couple of weeks, they get blown out the one week. They lose to a tough game to the Rams by a touchdown. So, I mean, all that. Arizona it continues to trend up. We've been talking about them. Honestly, another sneaky MVP futures if you can find a line you like on it. I still think is Kyler Murray, especially if they win that division. I think that's not a bad stab there. Arizona won actually a 3-point game the last time these two teams played, and it would not surprise me to see them pull it out again. But even if they don't, we're getting 3.5 here. When Seattle wins, it's normally a close game. And Arizona is definitely one of those teams that can score a lot of points. Their offense has been looking really, really good. So I really like 3.5 with Arizona, and that's where I'm going.
I'm with you on the 3.5. Just in general, Seattle has not been playing their best football lately. Arizona has been playing better. Like you said, the last game went to overtime. So even if Arizona loses, I think it'll still be within a field goal. I like having that extra cushion. Beyond that, I also really like the Arizona team total of over 26.5 points. Let's be honest, Seattle doesn't stop anyway. They are dead last in the league in pass defense, allowing 353 yards a game. The second worst is the Atlanta Falcons, allowing 310 yards a game. So Seattle is by far the worst pass defense in the NFL, and they're going to have to deal with DeAndre Hopkins and company. I love Arizona. I really like them to score points. I like them to win the game. You're giving me 3.5. We're going to take that. It's a lock for us. And we're also going to take the over 26.5 team total for the Cardinals. That is also a lock for us. Double lock on a Thursday to kick off the week.
Oh, yeah, lock it in. Get that money. Twice.
All right, well, let's move on over into Sunday, where we will start things off with the Atlanta Falcons at the New Orleans Saints. Saints laying 4.5 currently, and you're over-under at 51.5.
We got famous Jameis stepping in here for an injured Drew Brees. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but I still like the Saints. We're only laying 4.5. The Saints have won 3 out of the last 4 games against Atlanta, all covering that number. And I know most people are going to say, well, wait a minute. That was with Drew Brees. And yes, it was. But last year, when famous Jameis was still with Tampa Bay and Atlanta started getting hot in the middle of the season there, they got that upset victory against the Drew Brees-led Saints, holding them to 9 points. And then they held the Carolina Panthers to 3 points the following week. The first person to figure out the Raheem Morris defense was famous Jameis Winston, who put 35 points on him. So I like our boy's chances here to get right. He's got a great play caller and a great head coach behind him. The talent around him is amazing still, with Michael Thomas getting healthy and finally he's probably super excited to have someone that can throw a deep ball to him. Emmanuel Sanders, Kamara, Jameis looking fit, like he's been working hard. I really like the Saints here. I like them to win, and I like them to win comfortably. So give me the Saints.
You know, I was going to pizza box this one with you and take the Falcons. But after listening to you make all your points again here, I'm just going to back off. I'm going to just call it a pass for me.
Oh, dude, it wasn't a family-friendly show. There was a word you called me a lot. It rhymes with I'll tell you what. All right, I see how it is. Go ahead.
Just the pass.
All right, well, in an effort to keep it PG, let's move along. Let's go ahead over to the Cincinnati Bengals at the Washington Football Team. WFT laying 1.5, and the over/under at 46.5.
Normally, this would be at risk for an equation game, but Cincy is not quite the Cincy they used to be. As we know, Joe Burrow has looked good for most of this year, and I do expect him to get right against the Washington football team after facing a tough test last week against that Steeler D. Still has a lot of weapons on offense, and I definitely think they get it together this week. I think they score a lot of points. Conversely, Alex Smith has looked really good the last couple weeks, and he's been putting up a lot of yards through the air. So I expect Washington to score some points. If you made me lean aside, I would lean Cincy, but I think the best the best bet here is the over of 46.5, because I do expect some points to be scored. So I'm going to go with that, over 46.5.
Well, that's a nice pick there, Nate. I think I like that one as well. Alex Smith, in relief duty 2 games ago, threw for 325 yards. Last week against the Lions, he threw for 390 yards in a game that was lost 30-27, which of course goes over that total. The Bengals, 3 out of their last 4 games have gone over that total, and even last week against the Steelers on the road, in their great defense, the total went to 46. So almost got there, and the conditions were not outstanding in Pittsburgh as well. So I feel very confident about the over 46.5. This was at 45 earlier in the week, so stinks we didn't get it there. But I still like it a lot at 46.5. We're going to take it, and it's another lock for us.
Oh, yeah, lock it in. Get that money. Actually, one more thing here before we move on. I want to make sure I point out some of the player props that we've been liking and consistently hitting on. And I know one of them for you has been Justin Herbert up until last week when they finally adjusted. We're hoping that the bookmakers still don't catch on to the juicy Antonio Gibson lines they've been putting out there. Because if you can get 2.5 receptions and take the over on anything
under 20 yards receiving.
Yes. And take the over on anything under 20 yards receiving. That has been very profitable for us. So definitely like both of those a lot. And honestly, Terry McLaurin is still, he's been in the 70s and still been getting the over there most of the time as well. So that's another one we like. So just wanted to add that one in here. Sorry, Tone.
Up next, we have the Detroit Lions at the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers laying 1.5, and the total is a mystery.
Yes, a little bit of a mystery, probably due to the injury uncertainty surrounding both teams' quarterbacks. Right now, we have Matthew Stafford looking probable. Well, he was battling a thumb injury. All signs are pointing towards him playing. And the more questionable situation is the health of Teddy Bridgewater, who was dealing with a knee injury. Everything I've heard, no structural damage. We're being called a mild MCL sprain. And so from everything I'm seeing and hearing, I would bet this game as if he is going to play. So that's what I'm going to do, because when I first looked at it and saw the Panthers line versus the Lions, I was all about the Panthers. The Panthers are just a better team. I like what I've seen. I've watched a lot of their games this year. So we are under a field goal with the Panthers. I will gladly lay that. Give me that all day.
I see it the same way. It's Panthers at home against a team that isn't very good, and the spread is under a field goal. Love the Panthers minus 1.5. It's another lock for us.
Oh, yeah, lock it in. Get that money.
All right, moving on to the New England Patriots at the Houston Texans. The Patriots are laying 2.5, and the over-under at 48.
Okay, we got the Patriots under a field goal against a team who can't stop the run, against a team who's looked crappy for most of the year, against a team whose only 2 wins are against the Jaguars. Let's call them if the Jets are the worst team in the league, probably the second worst team in the league. So New England at 4-5, they're still, every time I think they're dead, they just won't die. They're like Jason. They just keep coming back to life. I mean, for real, they're 4-5. I mean, they win a couple in a row here. They're in the thick of the playoff race. And right now, what do they have? A softball served up in front of them like the Texans, who can't stop the run, which is what New England. That's all New England wants to do. So under a field goal, I Belichick just finds a way. So Patriots lay the points.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, are the New England Patriots the Jacksonville Jaguars? No. So the Texans have not proven they can beat anybody else. It's under a field goal. Give me the Patriots -2.5. It's another lock for us.
Oh yeah, lock it in. Get that money.
All right, moving on. We have the Philadelphia Eagles at the Cleveland Browns. Browns laying 3, and you're over/under at 46.
All right, so this is a game between two teams who suck in different ways and also suck in some of the same ways. Eagles can't really throw the ball that well right now because Carson Wentz is overrated and has been sucking. Baker Mayfield has been overrated his entire career and has sucked most of it and has been sucking. The Browns' the thing that they do the best and very well is run the ball. The Eagles actually aren't that bad of a rushing team, but they don't want to run the ball. They want to continue to throw it with Wentz, which has proven so successful for them this season. So, that's just not a recipe. There's a lot of suck involved in this game, and it's not quite an equation game, but I do think it's a nice recipe for not a lot of points. And so you're giving me 46 here with the potential of some more inclement weather, which has proven very, very much to affect the games the last couple weeks in Cleveland. So 46 points, better grab it now before it drops down to like 35. Give me the under.
All right, so you mentioned the weather there. So last week we told you we might have some crappy weather. Keep an eye on it. And if it's going to be bad, take the under. Well, that's exactly what happened. Weather report comes out on Sunday. They're calling for severe winds up to 60 miles an hour, and it was rainy. And the line dropped from like 52 to 45. I still hit the under. I cashed my ticket, no problem. Cleveland's last two games in weather like that have had a total of 17 and 22 points. We're still at 45.5. Now, even if it ends up being a beautiful day, weathermen are wrong sometimes. Even if it's a beautiful day, both of these offenses are bad. Both of these defenses are decent. I still think it'll go under. I love the pick. Under 46. It's another lock for us.
Oh, yeah, lock it in. Get that money. Both teams suck.
Up next, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Steelers laying 10, and you're over/under at 47.5.
Yeah, Steelers, we're going to blow them out. We're going to keep it really simple. Yinzer Nate ain't coming out. Hopefully he's gone for the season. We're laying 10 points with the Jags. Jags suck. They've lost 8 in a row. They scored one offensive touchdown against the Packers, who are not a great defense, and that was on a short field. The other touchdown they scored against them last week was on special teams, and then they got 2 field goals. So, yeah, we have a rookie quarterback in Jake Louis Vuitton or Luton, or Jake the Snake Bouton, whatever you want to call him. He's some rookie quarterback who's going to get scrubbed by the Steelers defense. He hasn't faced a pass rush like this yet. I think the Steelers roll. We're only laying 10. You have the second worst team in the league against the first or second best team in the league, depending on how you view the Chiefs. So, yeah, 10 points. I think, the defense might score enough to cover that on their own. Give me the Steelers laying 10.
Yeah, you know me. I normally like to stay away from Steelers games, at least picking them against the spread. But this one's just too juicy for me to pass up. I love the Steelers -10. Mike Tomlin, in his press conference this week, was singing the praises of James Robinson, Jacksonville's running back. So I expect the Steelers to put an emphasis on stopping him. And you already know what happens when the Steelers get a little bit of a lead and let an inexperienced quarterback try and go after them. That's just a recipe for disaster for the Jags. I love the Steelers -10. It's another lock for us.
Oh, yeah, lock it in. Get that money.
All right, the final 1 o'clock game on Sunday will be between the Tennessee Titans and the Baltimore Ravens. That's Titans at the Ravens. Ravens laying 6.5, and the over/under at 48.5.
Hey, Boof, what happened the last time the Titans went to Baltimore for an important game?
They won.
Not only did they win, but I believe they won by double digits. Is that correct?
I don't have the exact score in front of me, but I'll take your word for it.
Okay, fair enough. Obviously, yes, they definitely did. Obviously, there's a certain way we're going here. I'm not saying the Titans are definitely going to win, but we're getting the Titans at 6.5 here. Maybe might even get up to a touchdown. Woo! You have injuries on the Ravens defensive line. You have injuries on the Ravens offensive line. You have Lamar Jackson looking a little shaky. You have the Titans defense getting Adoree Jackson back. The addition of King in the slot at corner, former All-Pro. You have Derrick Henry, who ran all over the Ravens the last time they played. And now you're telling me their defensive line is weaker? Like I don't see how this is not at the very least a close game if the Titans lose, if they do not win. And you're giving me almost a touchdown. I'm going to take that all day, and I might even sprinkle a little Titans money line, make my pockets a little fatter.
I don't know. I might be crazy, but I'm sticking with the Ravens here, -6.5. I know that they blew it against the Patriots, and it screwed us extra because it messed up some parlays, which had some nice payouts.
It did,
but I can't just let that affect how I see this game. And to me, Tennessee is an average team with a record that is better than what I see when I watch them play. And all the stuff you're talking about them getting all these guys on defense, they had them all last week against the Colts, and they lost 34-17. And I believe Taylor Lewan and I think his name is Saffold, the left guard. So their left tackle and left guard are out on offense. So they're not exactly lining up with their best players to try and take advantage of Baltimore's injuries on defense. So I still think Baltimore's a better team. They're at home. They're coming off of a loss. They really need this game because I believe they have fallen to the 7th slot in the AFC, so the last playoff spot. And I think they show up and play well, and I would take the Ravens -6.5. How do you feel about pizza boxing it, Nate?
I'll definitely pizza box this one, Chief. Just to add to what you're saying here a little bit, I mean, both teams are 6-3. They both really need this game. Like, this is a situation where they could be fighting each other, honestly, for playoff position here. And part of my rationale as well that I didn't mention is that, I mean, the Patriots ran all over the Ravens last week in a bad weather game when they were not only limited to running a lot more, but also it's known that that's what the Patriots do a lot. It's also known that that's what the Titans do a lot. So, I mean, that's a lot of my rationale here, plus history, very recent history, for my rationale for going with the Titans. So, you wanna go against all that and pizza box it? Let's go, baby.
Let's do it.
Pizza's the food that's sure to please. These ninjas are into pepperoni and cheese.
All right, let's take things on over into the 4 o'clock hour and start things off with the Miami Dolphins at the Denver Broncos. Dolphins laying 3.5 and the over/under at 45.5.
Man, this line was at -2.5 like yesterday. I really wish we could have locked it then, but unfortunately we definitely are a victim of when we record. But I've heard a lot of quote unquote professionals saying that they're all over the Broncos, and I'm sorry, I don't get it. I don't get it. The Broncos offense has been awful, in large part because of Drew Lock. Vic Fangio is a very conservative coach. Their defense hasn't looked that good. And then conversely, you have the Dolphins coming in with one of the best defenses in the league. You have Tua, now 3-0 as a starter, who has looked better every single week he's played so far, and just an overall hot football team. Like I mean, I would be tempted to lay the 3.5 with Miami because I think they're going to win comfortably, but I just don't get it. I don't get this. I do not get why people are betting the Broncos. Just give me Miami at whatever number you're comfortable with, Booth.
Well, I'm willing to wait this one out. I think we can hope that we get some suckers out there. Like we like to call them the numbers guys. I hope we get some numbers guys out there seeing it just above 3, taking Denver, bump it back down to 3. Then we can bet it. So I'm down to conditionally lock this at -3 for all the reasons that you said.
Yeah, I agree. Let's see if these people put their money where their mouth is, and hopefully we can get a number we like. So, yeah, let's lock it in at +3.
-3.
Lock it in.
Oh boy, I would love to lock it at +3.
You know what? I'm so excited. I'm so excited, Tone, about that. I just saw the plus. I was like, well, plus money. So yes, I'm sorry, -3, and we're gonna do conditionally on that. Oh yeah, lock it in. Get that money. Conditionally.
All right. Well, let's move on to the New York Jets at the Los Angeles Chargers. The Chargers laying 8.5, and you're over under at 47.
I'd love to lay the points with the Chargers here. I really would. I know it's the Jets, but just the extra variable of Anthony Lynn and his conservative coaching that just blows leads for the Chargers. I can't in good faith lay anything over a touchdown with the Chargers, even against the Jets. The Chargers have already blown leads of 16 points or more 4 times this year. They might as well be the Falcons of the AFC. I like their offense. I like Justin Herbert. I do think that they will win, but I just anything over a touchdown, I just don't feel good about.
So the Justin Herbert total last week came in at like 273, so I stayed away. Now, conveniently, he only threw for like 180 something. So I'm kind of hoping my line comes back down in the mid 260s and we can hit that again. Beyond that, I agree with you, Nate. The line is too big. If I were to do anything, I'm just looking at the spreads here throughout the whole week. I think I would do the Chargers and the Chiefs on a 6-point teaser, getting you the Chargers -2.5 and the Chiefs -1. And I think that'd be a solid 2-leg teaser for you.
Yeah, I like it.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and move on to the Dallas Cowboys at the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings laying 7.5 and the over-under at 46.5.
Definitely not going to do anything with Dallas. They're awful. They're going to be awful. So no thanks there. I would be tempted to lay the points with the Vikings. I did see a 7 on Fox Bet, so if I was going to do that, I'd do that there. But still, just some uncertainty with Dalton coming back into the picture. It should be an upgrade for Dallas offensively, even though he hadn't shown much the first time he was in there. But they do have a lot of talent on offense, and that's something that gives you a little bit of pause, especially with the Vikings secondary not being a top-tier secondary. So I'd lean laying the 7 with the Vikings. Do like them to win the game.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Vikings to win the game. Honestly, I like them to win big. It's just, like you said, Dalton coming back provides enough uncertainty for me to take the Vikings covering it over a touchdown or even the full touchdown. It's a pass.
Up next, we have the Green Bay Packers at the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts laying 2.5, and your over-under at 51.
So I think this might be – I want to say this might be the first time this year I actually am on the Colts, where they're laying under a field goal. And a couple reasons here. One, Green Bay defense, not very good. They can be run on. They don't pressure the passer a lot. Conversely, the Colts offensively have a good offensive line. They can run the ball well, depending on what back is actually doing anything that day. And I say that because Jonathan Taylor seems to be on and off. So they seem to use a committee approach now, which just ride with the hot hand. So I don't hate their running game. And Phillip Rivers, when he gets time, he's not too bad, as proven last week by when they played the Titans, and the Titans didn't get much of a pass rush on him, and he went for almost 300 yards. Actually, I think it was over 300 yards. So give me all that. I like the Colts a lot, and that's where we're going to go.
For me, the Packers are still one of the premier teams in the NFL. The Colts are not. If we go over to DraftKings, I can get the Packers at +3. That's where I would go. How do you feel about pizza boxing tonight?
I will pizza box that with you. I like that. I like the Colts in that top tier defense to shut down your boy and win me another pizza box matchup.
Care to spit a pizza?
All right, well, that wraps up our 4 o'clock hour, so that'll take us to the Sunday Night Football matchup, which will be between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Las Vegas Raiders. Chiefs laying 6.5, and your over-under at 56.5.
You know, there's a saying, it's called don't poke the bear. Don't poke the bear. What I'm getting at here is when the Raiders, everyone knows the Raiders beat the Chiefs, give them their only loss of the season. They allegedly took a victory lap with the team bus around the Chiefs stadium before they left. So, no big deal, but at the same time, I guess the Chiefs got wind of that. And it's, it really is a professional athlete. Should that be a big deal? No. But at the same time, again, don't poke the bear. Like, the Chiefs are an unstoppable machine. You have Andy Reid coming off a bye, which is normally big time bad news for any opponent. And you have Pat Mahomes heating up here. And by the way, they beat you. They got the division locked up. It's not going to be a good day for the Raiders. Give me the Chiefs all day. Laying 6.5. I might lay up to 2 touchdowns for some plus money. Give me the Chiefs. Get it done.
All right, a few things here. I just think the Chiefs are significantly better than the Raiders. Beyond that, they are coming off of a bye. Andy Reid historically has been excellent after a bye week. And then the whole victory lap after the game last time, it kind of reminds me, I don't know, like a Purdue beats North Carolina in college basketball and Purdue storms the court. It says something about your program because you're going crazy over a regular season game like this. So it tells me you really don't even think of yourself of being a true championship contender because you don't celebrate like that unless you win the title. And that tells me the Raiders even think of themselves as kind of an average team. And they're going up against probably the best team in the NFL. They're going to lose by over a touchdown. And I love the Chiefs minus 6.5. It's another lock for us.
Oh, yeah, lock it in. Get that money.
All right, that takes us to our final game, which is our Monday Night Football game, which will be between the Los Angeles Rams and the Tampa Bay Bucks. Bucks laying 3.5, and your over-under at 47.
Man, what did the Rams do to the schedule makers, man? This is their 5th time traveling to the East Coast already this year. I know that, that there's been a bunch of stats we've given over the past 2 years now almost. We've been doing this, with the West Coast teams coming east and all that. And historically it's been bad. And it has been, but the books have corrected for that some, so it hasn't been quite as bad. We're just talking about in totality all those teams. Now you're talking specifically about a team that's coming to the East Coast for the 5th time in 10 games this year. That's nuts. Whatever, the 10 games, 11 games, whichever. Can't remember if the Rams had their bye yet, but still, now they lost their tackle Whitworth, which is a big deal for a team that loves to run the ball and a team that needs every second they can get with Jared Goff back there. Yeah, I like the Bucs here laying the points. I don't expect them to lay another egg in prime time like they did against the Giants. So I'd lay the points with the Bucs here.
Yeah, the Bucs obviously look good against the Panthers. The Rams look good against the Seahawks, so I do think we have a good game on our hands here. I do think Tampa Bay is the better team. I agree with you that the Rams losing Whitworth is a big deal. The 3.5, I would prefer to see that go to 3. So I think the way you play this is wait it out and see if it gets down to 3. If it does, then you take it. So I think we're going to conditionally lock this one at -3.
Oh, yeah. Lock it in. Get that money. Conditionally.
All right, well, that doesn't conditionally wrap the week. That actually wraps the week, so that finishes our Week 11 matchups. So as always, I'll leave it to you, Boof and Nate, to take us out.
All right, guys. On Thursday night, we have 2 locks. We got the Cardinals plus 3.5, and the Cardinals team total to go over 26.5. Then we have the Washington football team and the Bengals to go over 46.5. Panthers minus 1.5. Patriots minus 2.5. Eagles and Browns to go under 46. Steelers minus 10. Dolphins conditionally minus 3. Chiefs minus 6.5. And the Bucks minus 3, also conditionally. And I know Nate has a nice parlay for us this week.
Oh, yeah, Boof. We definitely have a parlay for the people, as always. Hoping to get it done this week after just missing last week. We have a 9-team parlay. We are going to buy a point in the Cardinals game up to 4.5 and go with the Saints money line. Buy a few points down in the Bengals-Washington game down to 42.5. Take the over. Carolina Panthers money line. Miami Dolphins money line. Chargers money line, Vikings money line, Chiefs minus 7, and buy a few points down on the Steelers to 6.5, and that will give us again a 9-team parlay at plus 49.96 on the odds. $100 wins you just under $5,000, and as a bonus this week as well, if you want to get a little extra freaky, there's 2 college games I like you can tag on to the end of that. In Purdue, minus 2.5, and Iowa, minus 2.5, to bring your total parlay odds up to plus 17,475, which means a $100 bet would win you $17,475.
Now, that'd be a fat payday right there.
That would be a day of days.
All right, Nate. Well, as always, thank you for sharing. Best of luck to everybody, and let's get that money.
Oh, yeah. Get that money. Check.